And that's what I'm going to share with you today, after I show my most favorite safety video. I hope you'll enjoy it as much as me. It is the mouse safety dance. And I actually love it so much, right, is I don't even have to watch it anymore. If you could turn it up just a little bit. Because here's a mouse with a job to do, a task at hand. Get the cheese. Anyways, Miss Missy Mouse, his supervisor, sends him out of the hole to do the work. Get the cheese, knowing he's a competent mouse. How do you know he's competent? Look at that little belly. He's done the job before, a little gray behind the ears. He's experienced. That confidence on approach, right? Look at how he surveys the workplace to be able to identify the hazards, assess the risk. How big is the boo-boo? How likely to happen? And make sure the right controls are in place. He's even wearing his PPE. Can you see it? I didn't say PP. I know he has no pants. I'm talking boots, gloves, right? So he knows the hazards, the risks, the right controls to do the job and do it safe. Ooh, he even took the back injury prevention course out of the warehouse. Look at how he gets down and close to lift to do it safe. Or does he? I love that video. I don't know if you can tell that or not. Because to me, it says so much about health and safety and so many of the things we're going to talk about in the next hour. One of the things the video tells me is that if we do not know that the farmer's wife exists, how can we protect ourselves from it? So what are we doing in our organizations to make sure that everyone knows that there's a farmer's wife out there, that there's that hazard? How are we communicating? How are we identifying? How are we getting everyone to pay attention to it? Some questions that we need to ask. Do you sometimes have those people in our work environment that they know the farmer wife exists, but they've been doing the job with her for 25 years. They know that she's been scared of mice. She always runs away. And so they think it'll never happen. What if she's gone to therapy and now she's facing her fears and she's going to come after the mouse? We have to look at systems in our work environment that don't just assess hazards and risks or have important conversations at the beginning of a project, but that we do it throughout as we're doing the work that's there. What else does this video tell us? It says that sometimes our people are really good at their job. They got their heads down, their butts up, they're working hard. They know the hazards and risks and controls with that job, getting the cheese. But sometimes they're so focused on that job that they sometimes don't have their blinders back. And it's the other equipment and processes and people and that can sometimes come up and smack them upside the head. So we're going to talk a bit about that. How do we get people to get their blinders back? How can we build our systems, our cultures in such a way that we're a little more mindful or situationally aware? So that's some of the stuff I'm going to talk about. What else does this video say? Oh, it should give you some insight into my sick sense of humor that you have to put up with for the next bit. Because I show the odd video clip, I tell the odd joke, tell the odd story. Meant to make a point, have some fun, because we all know at times safety can be, right, especially right after lunch. Just one of those things. You know where I come from with health and safety. This is how I see a safety management system that has a continual interaction of the structure, our policy, procedure, standards in our workplace, whereas you have this hazard, you must do this and this. Balances and constantly grows and interchanges with culture. This is how we do the work there. Because you can build a strong safety structure, but if you don't have a good culture, you only have a binder that looks really nice. If you don't have a good culture, or you have a good culture but not a good structure, you got a lot of people who are really trying hard, but they don't always know what to do. And if you have a good structure and a good culture, they feed each other, right? So building the structure and getting the culture right, it feeds so that no matter who you put into what situation, at the end of the day, you get safe, sustainable business. What questions should people be asking when they do the tasks? Right? So our safety management system needs to be built in such a way that we get people to ask the questions. How could I get hurt doing this task? What could possibly go wrong when I do this task? What are the hazards? Are they controlled? And not just when they go out and start their day's work, but during the process. Because even if this guy had asked it during the process, would there be a potential difference in the activity that was there? So we need to start to ask the questions. Worldwide, I know there's a lot of debate on whether we should be focused on zero and whether it's achievable or not, or any of that kind of stuff. I kind of put that aside. Number one is we somehow have to communicate to our people that safety is important. And one way to say that is that we don't want to harm anyone, and we're going to strive very, very hard to make sure that that doesn't happen. It's so much better to sometimes say we don't want to hurt anybody than we want to reduce our deaths by 25%. And so last year we killed 5 people, so we're only going to kill 2 this year. We can't have those kinds of conversations without looking really bad and morally defunct, right? So we need to find ways to communicate, even if we say our focus is zero, right? About really what we're striving for is that everyone goes home at the end of the day. And how do we need to do that? One, the more we can make safety integrated into how we do our work, the more apt it's going to happen. We actually start to fool people that this is how we just do the work around here, and they don't see safety and production, safety and trucking, safety and logging, safety and OSB production. Because if we see them as separate, that's when they go to the safety meeting in the morning, and then they go, now that the safety stuff's done, now I can actually get to work. It has to be integrated. So if our people are doing their work this way, and then when the safety person comes by, they do it that way, and when they leave, then it's not integrated. Just saying. Everybody should be doing one time during their day a what if. Take 2 seconds, 2 minutes, 2 steps back and saying, if anything was going to go wrong, what would it be? What are the hazards here? Are they controlled? What am I doing really well? How do I repeat that? And that we have those conversations with ourselves and with other people in our work areas, and it's amazing how that can make a difference. Because we can look at something that in a minute we think is really, really safe, but actually in reality it probably is more dangerous than it looks. So we should be able to take a look at any situation and ask those questions. If anything was going to go wrong, what would it be? How could we get hurt in this circumstance or situation? And the more we ask this and encourage people to ask it throughout the day, then that's where we sometimes catch things, because we may not have seen it in a pre-job situation. Take a look at your safety management systems. Are they based upon the hazard, the risk, and the right control? How are we having those important, crucial conversations with individuals and on different layers of our organization so that you can continue to be the difference in someone's life? I want to thank you for doing that, to make sure that people do go home. It's been my absolute pleasure to be able to share my quirky sense of humor, my passion for health and safety, and hopefully a couple tidbits to make you think about your program in a different light, in a safer light. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk with you all today. Be safe.
For more information on this presenter or more safety presentations, visit www.youtube.com/user/BC Forest Safety. For information on attending any of these safety conferences and more safety resources, go to BC Forest Safety Council's website at www.bcforestsafe.org.